Hi everybody and welcome to Mindfulness Monday, week 4. I am in the middle of a flare right now, so my heart is pounding pretty hard, which makes me out of breath. So if you hear me like huffing and puffing throughout this video, that is what's happening. Yeah, okay. Hi guys. So for this Mindfulness Monday, I wanted to talk about the importance of finding a mentor or having a support system to kind of complement your journey, your mindset journey. This is a very important thing, and a lot of people kind of discount it and don't think too much of things like who they're hanging out with, because it seems like it wouldn't affect your personal life in a very profound way. But from my experience, when I switched who I was hanging out with, my health got a lot better, and I'll explain that in a minute. But yeah, it's really important that you guys watch who you're hanging out with, because that has been scientifically proven to affect your health either in a positive or a negative way. So if you're a spoonie like I am, then it's going to be really important to make sure you're hanging out with supportive people. In my personal experience, I found that when I was hanging out with a certain group of people, I was not getting well. I was not recovering. My health was declining rapidly, pretty much. And that's not to because I do have a chronic illness, so that's not to push that onto other people and be like, oh, it's their fault that I'm sick. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying because I was around constant negativity, and I was already trying to deal with the negativity of being newly diagnosed with my POTS, it was really hard for my body and my mind to be positive because I was surrounded by negative people all the time. So I really want you guys to ask yourselves if the people that you're hanging out with are good for you or bad for you, because it took me a while to realize that I didn't like who I was when I was hanging out with that group of people. And I'll say that a lot. You'll hear me say that in my vlogs and stuff. But when I switched to a more positive group of people, I saw a dramatic change in my health. It was within a week. I was a lot better. I was able to walk farther and stuff. So I'm fascinated by how that works, because I am not a scientist, so I don't know the science behind that. All I know is I felt a lot better when I was around more positive people. So today I want to give you the top 5 places that I have found my support group, because if you have a chronic illness, you're probably not around people a lot, and if you feel lonely a lot, or you don't have a supportive group of friends already, you're probably wondering where the heck am I supposed to find that? So I want to go over my top 5 ways of finding your people, your tribe. Okay, we're gonna wing this because I don't have brain fog that badly tonight and I can't find my notes. So, alright, number 1 is going to be a mentor. Finding a mentor is super important because you have someone that has been through the situation and can kind of help you through it when you're having a hard time. So I actually have technically three mentors, and then one person who is older than me and gives me advice a lot. I have a business mentor, a friend who has done a lot of marketing stuff, so he is kind of my mentor in that area, and then I have my life coach and my random friend who will be considered a mentor for this video, because hey, if they're wiser than you in some areas and giving you advice, then I would count that as a mentor. A lot of these people kind of just fell into my lap, but it's pretty easy to find someone that you can buddy up with or look up to or ask for advice. I would start within your friend circle, so looking at the people you know. Is there anyone who's older than you or more knowledgeable than you about a certain topic? So whatever goal it is that you want to accomplish, say you want to become a more positive person. So you can even look at your friends and pick someone who's like super positive all the time and that you wish you could be more like, and then contact them and just be like, tell them that you admire that trait in them and you want to be more like them, and if you guys could chat about, you know, their lifestyle and how they've basically become that person, and then yeah, there you go. If you are more in the business area like I was, then I also started with my friend circle, so I was very vocal about starting a business. I would say start by letting people know that you are pursuing a certain goal, and if you're still struggling to find someone, go ahead and put it out there. Like, you can use Facebook. I've gone into Facebook groups and like posted, hey, does anyone know about this certain topic? And people reply, and they will actually like get on the phone with you and talk to you about it. So if you can't find someone in person, or you don't have a friend that's like fulfills that specific gap, you can always use the internet to try and find someone. And you can also hire someone too. I'm sure there's a lot of like coaches and stuff in your area that will be happy to help with whatever you're pursuing. But that tends to be the more expensive option, because with friends it's easier to like trade. And like, even my friend offered to do it just because we're friends, which was super nice, but don't expect that, because people should be getting paid for their work. But I'm just saying, it's probably like, if you don't know where to start and you don't have the money to start with like a professional, then definitely use your friend base. That sounds terrible, oh my gosh. Definitely utilize your friend base and like come up with a trade or something, or even just have a conversation. Okay, now that that's out of the way, and I sound like a terrible friend who is using everybody. I swear that's not what I meant by that. Okay. Okay, number 2. What was number 2? Okay, now I have brain fog. Number 2, while we are on the topic of the internet, I have found a lot of support in my Facebook groups. So I actually belong to several of them, and they are all groups that center around topics that I want to improve in. So I'm like in one for leadership, I'm in one for mindfulness. That one's actually a paid group because it's through my life coach. And there's like other ones that have like motivational stuff, but mainly the one that teaches about leadership and my life coaches group are the two that I hang out in the most. Oh, and I also, in business-wise, I'm in a photography group where like they throw in the newbies with the super professional people, so you can kind of like learn from them. And that's what's so great about Facebook groups, because it's a big melting pot. So wherever you are, you're never going to be the smartest person in that room. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, because you're never going to grow if you already know everything and everyone's like below you. So you should find a room or like a Facebook group where you have people below you and people above you, so you can practice teaching the people that are not in the same place as you yet, at the same time as you're learning from people who are past your level. I am so out of breath, oh my gosh, okay. So Facebook groups are a great way to learn about whatever it is you're trying to pursue. And this really, like, these ideas that I'm giving you basically work for everything, because I have groups for all of my, like, mindset stuff and photography and business. So it's like, possibilities are endless, guys. Facebook groups, very important, so remember that. Okay, number 3, I had to check to make sure I was holding up 3 fingers. That is how tired I am tonight. Okay, number 3 is probably the most obvious one, but look for support within your existing friendship circle. And for some people, this isn't going to be an option because they're either like doing a complete overhaul of friends, which I kind of did, or like, you know, they're not around people a lot, like if you have a chronic illness and whatever. So number 3 isn't going to be possible for some people. However, if you do have friends that you feel are positive or supportive and give you energy and make you happy, then this will definitely work for you. I am a true believer that you become most like the 5 people you hang out with. So when I switched my friend groups and I went to the more positive one, I made a list of the 5 people that I admired and wanted to become more like. So I had different friends that were good in different areas. So for example, one friend is super chill and I have anxiety, so a lot of the times I get super worked up about small things. And this friend's super chill, so I go to him for advice or like to calm me down when I'm upset and I know that I'm being irrationally upset about something. So that is one quality that I don't have but I want to possess, which would be my level of chill. And another friend, like, I really like her sense of humor, and she's super witty and she can always like crack a joke that's super funny. And so I want to hang out with her a lot more, so it kind of like rubs off on me and I can kind of like learn how she does her type of humor. So it's all kind of like indirect learning from the people around you that you like, but you're in a positive environment because they are people that you admire and not people that are trying to like tear you down in any way. So that's number 3, is looking within your circle and making a list. You can actually write it down. That's what really helped me. Or like make a mental note of like the five people that have traits that you want to possess and you want to learn more about. Number 4. So this is actually an interesting one because it's not one-on-one, if that makes sense. One of the best forms of support I found is motivational videos and podcasts. My favorite people are Lewis Howes, Jay Shetty, Gary Vee, all of the people that like make me feel pumped and positive. Goalcast is one on Facebook. Impact Theory is a good podcast. School of Greatness by Lewis Howes is a good podcast. All of those, like, your top 5 people, your support group does not have to be like an actual person. It's perfectly fine if you are in a situation where you do not have positive people in your life. It's perfectly fine to get that energy from a different source online that's in the form of like a motivational talk or a TED talk or something that inspires you. I definitely think that falls under a form of support because you're being constantly fed positive information, and if you're needing support or if you're a spoonie, you probably feel like the underdog a lot, and a lot of those motivational videos are true stories about people who did like beat the odds and stuff, so it's very inspiring and uplifting, at least for me personally. So I get a lot of energy from watching those, and it doesn't really matter to me that it's not like an actual person. So if you don't have people in your life that you feel are supportive, then definitely watch some of those podcasts and videos that I just listed, because that is going to help you a lot. That's what I did when I was going through a really hard transition phase, and I had my good friends, but none of them knew I was sick because I wasn't ready to talk about it. So I felt super lonely and alone, and I didn't really have anyone to talk to during that transition. So that's when I really looked for other sources. So I would watch those videos and they would always make me feel a lot better. Number 5. So I'm scooching over here. I'm gonna put my video up here on the side. Number 5 is actually an app that I found last month called Wisdo. It is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life, probably. Besides unicorns. It's basically a group created by one of the motivational speakers, Sarah Snow. She's also a good one to look up online too. But I don't know if she created it actually, but she is very involved with the app, and that's actually how I found it because it showed up on my feed with her talking about it. And it's basically an app where you go on and there's a bunch of support groups and you get to talk to people in similar situations, and everyone gives each other advice, and it's monitored by people who, you know, actually have training. I really liked this app a lot because you get to help people at the same time as you're being helped. So when you go onto the app, you can choose to be matched with a buddy, so you get to pick someone from the list that may have a similar experience that you have, and you can message them and they can kind of be your guide and lead you through that situation. If you get enough engagement on your posts within the support groups, you will also be sent a message by the people running the app, and you can become a helper or a guide. So I'm a helper, which means when someone wants to pair up with a buddy, they can choose me, and so I'm kind of like their guide. And then there's also guides. Guides are more of the admins of the support group, so they're able to like delete inappropriate comments and just keep an eye on how things are going. I did get asked to be a guide, but I decided that I wanted to stay a helper because I like having my buddies and being able to talk to people. And your buddy can also leave you feedback as well, and tell like other people how helpful you were, which is really cool, and it's made me feel amazing because I've never like had the opportunity to really help people in that way. And so through this app I've learned so much. Like I've learned how to deal with people who have depression, how to talk to people who have like experienced death in the family, and like all of these situations that I wouldn't have found myself in real life. Through this app I've been able to kind of learn how to navigate mental health. But they have a group for like literally everything, I swear. Like if you look, there's like mental health, there's stuff for like first time homeowners, and like if you want to live green, and LGBTQ plus community. And if you don't find what group you're needing in the main groups, you can search at the top and you can like put in what you want. So say it's anxiety, and then they will give you all the subgroups. You can create a subgroup too, so if you don't see one, you can make one yourself. And then yeah, people can just join it as they find you. And I thought that was super cool too, because the possibilities are endless and you're most likely to find someone in the same situation as you. You also get a profile too, so you can put your photo and then your bio, so what you've gone through, and then you can list your experiences. So whatever you have like knowledge in, you can list that at the bottom of your profile so people can like find you and message you if they need help. And yeah, it's just a really cool app, and I've had so much, I won't say fun because it's like not fun, like mental health isn't fun, but it's been really nice, and I feel very fulfilled being able to like help people, and it makes my anxiety and my problems like better. And instead of scrolling Facebook, I'm taking a break from Facebook right now, and so instead of doing that, I just go on Wisdom and I talk to someone, and I feel like that is a much better use of my time than scrolling mindlessly through a feed, because I'm actually like able to connect with someone and like help them out, or they'll help me out. And I just feel like that's so great compared to like, I don't know, just social media. Social media tends to make our problems worse because we compare ourselves to everything going on there, and all you see is the highlight reel. So it's really nice to find an app where you can connect with people who are also struggling with the same situation, because you learn really fast that like most people have problems whether or not they're going to talk about them on their social media. You're definitely not alone, so that has been a great source of support. They asked me to be an ambassador, so they gave me a link. I don't get paid or anything for it, at least not in this point in time. I don't really know like what it is, but what being an ambassador is, other than I'm just supposed to tell people about the app if I want to, and I do really want to because I like it. So I'm gonna post my link at the bottom, and you can use that to try it out if you want. If you ever need to talk to anybody and you don't feel like your friends really understand what you're going through, because a lot of my friends don't understand anxiety even though they're super supportive of me, sometimes it's just nice to have a group of people that has lived through it and isn't just trying to understand. Okay, so those were the top five places where I have found support on my journey. And I hope that helped you guys and gave you some ideas in case you're in a situation where you're like having a hard time finding friends and stuff, because I definitely know what that feels like and it does not feel good and you feel lonely all the time. So hopefully these will give you a way to connect with people even if it's online, because even if it is online, you can always find people in your area that you can connect with face to face, because in certain groups I would just put out a call like, hey, who's from my area, and then people would answer, and then you could just be like, you want to meet, or like get a group together and meet and discuss like the group and everything. And that's a really good way I found to actually take your experience online and bring it in person. Alright guys, that was pretty much all I wanted to say for this week. So I kind of want to give you guys like little things like homework that you have to do. So your homework this week is to use one of those 5 sources and try and find someone that you can talk to, or someone that can become your mentor, or someone that you can get support from. And I will see you next week for the next Mindful Monday. Bye guys!